Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which I have the pleasure of talking about the IS-7 because in the 8.3 update, that thing received a huge aesthetic buff, aka the final and legendary new graphics. And to be fair, I gotta be honest, this looks extremely cool. You also have that little IS-7 wrote in Russian on the side. They also improved a little bit the legendary camouflage of the thing, which makes it a little bit more relevant historically talking in my opinion, and I kind of love it. But we're not necessarily here to talk about that only, because it seems like the IS-7, due to its new aesthetic, changed one or two things about its armor profile, which is interesting enough for me to do a video. Basically, the whole armor profile of the IS-7 came from this to this, which makes it a little bit wider. So if we go to the 8.31, you will see that they kind of increased the overall armor of the tank, which makes it a beast nowadays at face hugging, which was not the case in the past, because back in the days you could still get completely destroyed. So it's cool to see that Wargaming finally did something about it and also touched the upper part of the hull, because right now it's impossible to penetrate it frontally even if you're using an E100 or things like that, except if you're extremely lucky or running with calibrated shell. And trust me, it does a whole new difference on the battlefield. But what we said right now are only words. We want to see how effective that new IS-7 is on the battlefield. And before the game starts, before we get into trouble, I just want you to take 2 or 3 seconds to admire Wargaming god job at making those tanks render so beautifully. No, so beautiful. Render so beautiful. This is the right word. They look just, I don't know, insanely looking. This is just great. So thank you, Wargaming, because at least it gives us more intention to play the game, simply because you would rather play beautiful tanks rather than ugly ones. That being said, let's focus on the replay. What you want to do with the IS-7 is exactly what I'm doing right now. As you can see, we are using our tank to stay in hull down. What we want to do is only exposing the turret, which is the strongest part of the tank, to our opponents in order for us to get some bounces. Unfortunately, as they're not moving forward, I'm deciding to move and to push through. Luckily for me, the IS-7 is equipped with something not a lot of tanks have, aka a great spaced armor on the side, which allowed me to bounce the shot from the E100. Otherwise, I would have been completely fucked. That being said, now there we go for the IS-7. We are in all down against him, and this is why he's running away. He knows he can't do anything, so I'm gonna focus on the rest of the enemies that are located on the other side of the map. Unfortunately, as you can see, my team splitted, and this is not for the best, because we shouldn't have. As heavies, we should have followed the rest of our allies, mediums and lights, and we kind of fucked up here, and this is completely my fault. I didn't check the matchmaking or the team composition before going on the heavy side, and I should have, because right now my allies are paying the price of my inattention, aka all dying. All right, so now we are going to stick to that position. We have a good one. I mean, from this position right there, you're going to see we have that little wall right here that allows us to only show to my opponents the turret, because what they're seeing from the other side of the map is basically this. And if you see this, good luck penetrating that tank, especially at long range, knowing that your shell penetration is getting lost over the distance. So there we go. My team got wrecked on the other side. We still have a lot of heavies on my side as well, so it's not necessarily a problem. But what we want to do right now is not moving. We're going to try to see if we have the possibility of sticking 1 or 2 shots on the opponents before having to move, before putting some pressure on them. So what we're doing is trying to find some tanks. Unfortunately, I'm a heavy tank. I don't have the best spotting range, which implies that sooner or later I'll have to get it done by myself by pushing through. And I did something a little bit stupid here, but I was lucky because I was not punished for it, but I'm going to push by myself. As you can see, if you take a look at the map, I have 3 heavies on one side in my team, and I'm going on the total opposite completely alone, which completely sucks. And this is what the E100 is telling me, IS-7 OMG, and yeah, he's right, because what I'm trying to do right now is blocking the advance of my enemies, because otherwise all my teammates are going to get pushed from behind, which is going to be extremely hard to win afterwards. So yeah, there we go. We're waiting for the object 268. We're going to try some side scrape, and this is another tactic I would like to introduce you to when it comes to the IS-7, but I don't know if I can enter in this thing. Can I? Okay, I can. Perfect. So basically, if you take a look at the object 268 point of view, you see that I'm side scraping, which allowed me to sneak my shot on the 268 without taking any. Of course, I'm going to take one right now because as 268 is shooting with gold shell, he can easily penetrate me like I'm butter, but it allowed me to destroy the guy and to move on to a next target. And yeah, we helped quite a lot our team right now doing this, because getting wrecked or getting the tank destroyer problem solved by destroying them is possibly the best way to win when you only have heavies remaining in your team. Unfortunately, this is standing in a 1 versus 3. But I know some things because I checked my map, guys. I know that the Yak E100 is on the right side of the map, and that the WZ and the two WZ, the 120 and the 113, are pushing the 100, which implies that as the Yak Panzer has a low mobility, he is still blocked on the right side of the map. And I also know that the guy is a one-shot. So what I'm going to do is obviously focusing the guy that is lonely and low life. So I'm trying to find out where the Yak Panzer is hiding, and I'm not going to search for too long, simply because I'm not going to find him. So instead of having to push forward or to try something and to stick to the open space, I'm going to make the best move of this game, in my opinion. I'm going to wait for them and hide from a position that gives my strongest specs their best chances. My strongest specs are the gun, because you have a huge alpha damage, but also the mighty armor. And from there, from the position I just took, I can once again only show my turret to my opponents. This is what you're seeking with the IS-7. Always try to only show your turret. So there we go. As you can see, the Yak Panzer is trying something. I switched to APCR to increase my shell velocity to be able to kill the Yak Panzer before he turns around and angle his tank. And it worked perfectly. Boom. There we go. We are now in a 1 versus 2 situation. But it's still going to be quite hard. Even if I have a lot of hit points, the WZ-113 also has a lot, and the WZ-120 is a 2-shot tank. So what I'm going to do, because I'm using calibrated shell all the time with my IS-7, I'm trying to sneak my shots on the WZ. And here you see the main difference between this IS-7 and the IS-7 from the 8.2 update. Here, that guy right there that just shot with gold at me should have penetrated if he were in the 8.2 update. But as we're not playing in the 8.2 update, and oh boy, is there WZ coming, as we're in the 8.3 update, we are finally able to face hug with the IS-7 without fearing getting penetrated. Just take a look at that. A second one, bam, he bounces off once again. So there I go. I switch to a PCR, sneak my shell, and now I gotta take it all for the WZ-120. I'm only at 100 hit points, and I'm trying something. I'm gonna sneak a shot on the WZ, and I see that the guy is coming to me. So instead of trying to hide myself behind the T-54 turret, I'm trying to push forward. And it allowed me to bounce the shell of the WZ, killing it in the process, securing 4 kills and the Coloban of metal. And all of that is made possible because Wargaming made a buff, or made a change to the IS-7 armor profile. Because now you have a stronger tank, you have a stronger turret, you have a stronger hull, which definitely makes the IS-7 relevant again. So please, guys, if you don't have it already, it's definitely a tank to acquire right now, because in the current meta, it's actually a really nice tank. Hopefully you enjoy. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and I'm going to see you soon for a new video. Bye.